Ladies and gentlemen, our first speaker of the day, please give a warm welcome to Mark Asquith.
Good afternoon. I'm not from Barnsley, actually. Where's my clicker, Paul? Have you got a clicker? You take everything, don't you? Thanks, mate. Can we just get a massive hand for these guys, by the way? For Tim and for Paul. Woo, 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 woo. Okay, so Paul warned me that this clicker was crazy. Oh, it is crazy. There we go. So that's kind of what I'm going to talk about today, personal branding for marketers, but it's a little bit of a buzzword, isn't it, personal branding? You're going to be sick to death of it. So actually, just take notice of this bit, pitch-proof yourself. Who works in an agency or who works in marketing? Now, that's a silly question. Just stick your hand up if you work with clients in marketing. Thank God for that. We're good. We can carry on. Okay, so you're going to get a lot of tactics from people today. Hell of a lot of tactics. I'm going to actually give you a call to arms because everyone is great at what they do. But I'm going to talk about tipping the scales. What can we do when it comes to pitch-proofing ourselves? Because we all have to pitch, don't we? We all have to go through pesky pitches. So what can we do to tip the scales in our favor? And actually, why aren't we doing these things? And what effect can these things have on our business? But I'm going to tell you a story. That's a hot dog. You'll be familiar with hot dogs if you're from Barnsley. It's the only thing that we can afford. Now, I'll tell you a story about that. Imagine, what year are we in? 2017. Roll back the clock to 1991. What was in fashion in 1991? Anyone? Someone give me something. Raving was in fashion. Ibiza, yeah. Little glow sticks and such like. Anything else? What was in fashion in 1991? What was? Shell suits were in fashion or still are in fashion. Love it. Anything else? Last one. Big hair, and what was the other one? Okay, big hair, and what was the other one? Holy shit. You win the day, sir. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, what wasn't in fashion was me. I was way out of fashion. And imagine this little 8-year-old me turning up at my last school disco. Last school disco before going to big school, secondary school. We've got them in town, in Barnsley, it's fine. So imagine me rocking up there and being this kind of wallflower, this like grey kid that really no one knew. All I wanted to do was fit in and kind of, be one of the popular kids. So I walk into this disco, and everything's going well. I'm skidding around on the floor, doing what you do, skidding around everywhere. Mum went crazy because of the knee thing. And I turned up, and remember I'm from Barnsley, so I turned up at this disco, and I went into the hot dog queue. All of the people that I wanted to be respected by, all getting the hot dogs, all getting the drinks. So I rocks up, little me. Hi, can I have a hot dog and some orange juice, please, miss? Yeah, of course you can. It's 50 pence. Like, what? I had absolutely no money because I come from a super poor family. So imagine this little 8-year-old me that all this little kid wanted was to be respected and to just get kind of through the last disco without any incident. Having to give this hot dog back in front of all of you people. I was humiliated. I was embarrassed. It was awful. And that's what gave me a head start. Because, coming from Barnsley, I could choose to never feel like that again. I could work down a pit. Oh, yeah. And having this money problem, this affliction, was driving me. So I didn't want to do that. But if you come from Barnsley, you do have more options, thankfully. So that's a win. Because you can work in factories. So that's cool. But I didn't want that either. Instead, oh yeah, I broke out. Struck gold. Worked in an office. I got all the shit. Mark, you can't dye your hair. Why? Office policy. You've got to wear a collared t-shirt or a collared shirt. Why? Office policy. Okay, right, I'll do that then. I got sick of being told You've got to do this. You've got to take the baton and run with it. You've got to do this, and you've got to move forward in the way that we want you to move forward. No. Now, you see, I realized the reason that I didn't like that, remember back to the day that I had to give the hot dog back? That was someone dictating to me what I was allowed to do. Like this money thing had stopped me doing what I wanted to do. Authority, the man, sounds so cliche, had stopped me doing what I want to do. And that's when I realized that actually my problem is having an issue with authority. I don't know where I got that picture from. It's quite cool, isn't it? Actually, seeing these mirrored shields, awesome. Imagine me telling my mum, do you know what? I don't want to work in this office anymore. And all the people from school and all the people around me were saying, you can't do that. You can't possibly do that. You're from Barnsley. People from Barnsley, do not do that. Fuck that. So I built a software business. Built this media business, excellence expected. It's on my t-shirt, so doing pretty well. Embroidered. And I also built an agency for the last 10 years. Built an agency that works with Adobe, that works with Nike, ADC in New York, worked with Bosch, all over the world. You'll have seen us on Time Inc.'s covers. We've designed those. We've designed Fortune covers. We've designed all sorts of things. But fuck pictures. This month, I closed the agency down. After 10 years. It was doing well. It was supporting 8 people. We were working all over the world, and I closed it down. And the reason was pictures. Because what are they? They're authority. That's someone saying, give me back the hot dog. Because even though you've written this 245,000 page proposal, we're not going to use you. Give me back the hot dog. So I closed it down. But look, here's the reality. We all have to pitch. Wouldn't it be great if that was just a life goal? Fuck pitches, don't have to do that anymore. But the reality is, you're just setting up a marketing consultancy. You're going to have to pitch. You are going to have to pitch. So what we've got to do as marketers, as entrepreneurs, as business people, as guys and girls that just turn up and do good stuff, we've got to tip the scales. We've got to walk into that room and not even have to pitch. So let's talk it through. Let's figure it out. Just sing along if you know this ballad. Hello, this is Hacksaw. Oh, yeah, this is John Smith calling from XYZ Company. I've seen your website, and we'd like to do a little bit of work with you. So, yeah, you're thinking, this is awesome. I've got new work. It's great. Google Works. It's going to be fucking awesome. So I'm going to send you an RFQ, request for quotation. So instantly, like, Jesus, what? Another form. And then we're going to follow it with a PQQ. What? Pre-qualification? What? Jesus. I wish I could rewind back to fuck pictures at this point. And then, okay, what we're going to do is, we're going to ask you to design the entire website for free. Spec work, to prove that you can do it. I thought you'd seen my website, dude. You know I can do it. It's on my website. And then you've got to write a 245,000 word proposal. It doesn't matter if it's a web proposal, a marketing proposal, a content proposal, a podcast production proposal. Doesn't matter what that is. They expect war and bloody peace, and they expect it ring-bound. Not into that. Never bought a ring-bound thing. What are they called? Ring binders. Never did that. And they also expect you to turn up and do a presentation. Know why? Because the IT guy wants it. What does he want to see us for? He's the IT guy. Oh, yeah, that's right. Marketing, because it uses computers, is IT. Okay, thanks, Grandma. So, you turn up, and they go through the whole spiel with you. I really like what you're doing, Mark. These are great ideas. I'm so excited. Phil, you seem it. You seem super excited, buddy. Calm down. Yeah, well, and this is the death knell that we all know. You know, we've got to get 3 quotes. And that's when you know. Not a fucking chance. Not a chance. Because you've turned up to fill the void. You're number 2 on the list. Maybe you're number 3 on the list. But 90% of the time, you're sure as shit not number 1. And the reason for that is multiple. Let's take away the fact that there's an IT guy sat on this marketing panel. You know, because marketing does use computers. Ultimately, these guys, when you walk into this room, they are not measuring investment. They're measuring cost. They don't care about value. All they really give a shit about is the pre-prescribed solution that they've got in their head. If you've ever done any work in the startup world, there's this big saying which is love the problem, not the solution. These guys love their solution. Mark, we need a website that does absolutely everything, that's fully responsive on devices that may or may not exist in 25 years. And it's got to use HTML12 because the IT guy said so. And if it doesn't, well, I'm sorry, you don't stand a chance. They're the kind of briefs that you get if you're a web company, if you're a marketing company. You get even better ones, full of jargon. I'm not going to say them because somebody's going to shout out bingo. But you've all seen them. You've all had them. Whether you're in social, whether you're in content creation, podcast production, marketing consultancy, web, SaaS, whatever it is. Memberships. I pointed at you for SaaS, that Mike, don't hit me. Sorry, pal. We've all had it. And the problem is that these guys have got this pre-prescribed solution. They don't understand their own problem. But this is what we try and do. We try and get better at the game. Right, that's it, lads. Monday morning. I know we lost that pitch, but I'm going to create a pitch pack that will ensure that we never lose a pitch again until the next one. And then there's something wrong with a pitch pack. So do you know what? Next Monday, guess what Mark's doing? The pitch pack again. And it doesn't bloody work. So there's no point trying to get better at this game. We have got to change it. Because otherwise, we're just one of 3 quotes, aren't we? We turn up and we're just one of 3 quotes. Our actual job is to become the only viable option. If there's one thing that you write down out of this entire talk, that should be it. Become the only viable option. The question is, how do you do that? What can you do to make sure that actually you never need to pitch again? Our job, I'm going to kind of give you an example here, which might be hard to visualize, but screw it, I'm going to give it a go. Imagine you're walking down a hotel corridor. Right at the end of the corridor is a door, and that's the sale. And you've got to guide that person, the person that holds the purse strings, because remember, when you quit your employment and you become self-employed, you set up a marketing consultancy, you don't become self-employed. You acquire 50 bosses because your boss is the person that tells you what to do, tells you when they want it done, and when they're going to pay you. You could also spell boss client. So you acquire all these other bosses. So what we've got to do is we've got to take their hand, we've got to guide them down this corridor towards this sale right at the end. But all the way down the corridor are these open doors. Requests for quotes. People pitching shit. Other options. Our job is to close every one of those doors. Not as we walk down the corridor, not as we get into the pitch. Our job is to close all of those doors before we've even got into the damn building. Before we've even got into the hotel. But how do we do that? Well, if this was a client, what would a client do? If their mentor said to them, listen, you need to become the only viable option. What's the first thing that they would do? Any guesses? We're in a room full of marketers. Which is kind of nice because it upholds my point. They'd hire a marketing company. Wouldn't they? How do we craft this message? How do we build a brand? How do we create this strategy and implement all of these tactics so that I can close off every one of these doors before I get right to the sale at the end? So that no one else even gets into the bloody corridor. And if they do, they get a swift kick straight back out. That would be my brief to the marketing company. But we're marketers. I'm going to tell you another story. My dad's an electrician. If you ever come to my house, you've pretty much got to sign a disclaimer saying it's all right if you get electrocuted. That's not true, but maybe we should do that. Our wiring is shit. Some of the lights don't work. The plugs are off. Try and charge your phone up. It's not even worth doing. You just leave the building and do it in your car. And that's the same thing with us as marketers. Do we really market ourselves? Do we? Why? Why do we not market? You're shaking your head and I'm like, yes, I'm with you. Why do we not market ourselves? Put some hands up. Let's think of some reasons why we don't market ourselves. Anyone? We're too busy. Time. Ross put his hand up. Just shout it, man. Don't listen to what I'm saying. Too busy doing client work. Exactly. Well, yeah. Absolutely, yeah, because our egos are, even though we're all like marketers, are a little bit narcissistic. We're like, I'm a marketer, baby. Look at me. Got my corduroys on. But we don't. What? But we don't do it, do we? Even though we're a little bit narcissistic, we sort of stay away from it a little bit because we don't like blowing our own trumpet. And then we start to throw around all of these different things when we talk to clients. Okay. First briefing, I'm your new marketing company. Let's talk about your USP. And then you hear a thud because the guys fell off the chair in boredom. So you pick him back up and say, what we need to do is get some attention, build some interest, get some desire, and then we're going to get some action. And then you pick him back up again, stick him back on his chair. And then you said, you know what? I'm going to blow your mind. We're going to set up an email newsletter. Serious. But then the biggest thing, fucking hell, how many times do we tell people that? Has anyone not said that? Put your hands up if you've not said that. Ross, if you put your hand up, I'll kill you. Yes! People buy from people, yet we expect to walk into this cold pitch with RFQ bitch brand and go in there cold and expect them to buy from us. We must be crazy. We can't possibly be marketers if that's what we expect to happen. Because what? People buy from people. Remember that. This is a long slide. I hate long slides, I do apologize. But I believe actually that this is how we tip the scales. And I'm not going to preach to you about content marketing because there's other people that are better at it than me. What I will say is that I truly believe that that is how you tip the scales. Content plus personality plus consistency equal, and this is the key thing, equals indisputable knowledge. When you walk into a pitch and that Ponzi IT guy says to you, well, yeah, but how have you got ROI for another window cleaning brand that turns over 12 grand a year? Oh, well, actually, mate, have a look at all this stuff. Doesn't matter what the stuff is, just go and have a look at all this stuff that I'm telling you to look at. And you've got to have the willingness. You have got to be willing to rock the boat a little bit. I was talking to Mike yesterday because I want him on the show. Mike Morrison from Membership Guys, fantastic marketer, great business person. And I want him on the next season of the podcast because we talk the same language. We give it no shit. That is a willingness to be ourselves. And do you know what? We're going to piss people off. Some people will leave here today and be like, that northern kid swears way too much. That's cool. You've got an unfollow button on Twitter. We're fine. We can get on with that. That's what you've got to be willing to do. You've got to be willing to go in there and lose the job. You've got to be willing to go in there and lose the job. Because if you don't, you're never going to win the job. You're never going to tip the scales. And that's the only thing that we're here to do. Tip the scales. Doesn't need to be by much. But by the time we get into that pitch, People need to know us. Remember this from marketing jargon. They need to like us, and they need to trust us. But here's the challenge that I'm going to give to you right now. And I want you to change how you think about pitching. You are not going in there, you are never going into a pitch to pitch a solution. Never. And if you are, you're going to lose. Because how many times have we won pitches by someone saying, don't worry, mate, I'll sort you out with this one. We need 3 quotes, but nudge, nudge. You can have that one. It's happened to everyone. Ross and I spoke about it at the last session we saw each other on. Happens to everyone. So why bother playing their bloody game? Instead, you've got to challenge them. You've got to make them, 1, understand their problem. 2, love their problem. And 3, get them that damn excited about the solution that they don't even know what the solution is. They just need to be that excited by you and you and you and you and you and you and you. They need to know that you've got this indisputable knowledge, that you've got the experience, so that instead of saying, we want a marketing strategy to generate 20% more revenue over the next year, they come to you and they say, Mark, we've got a problem, we're not making enough money, what do we do? Is that not a better pitch? Would we all not prefer to walk into a room where someone comes and said, you know what, I've seen what you did over there, I've seen what you did over there, I've seen kind of what you did over there, I've seen you speak at a few places. We're struggling, we can't get to 10 million, we can't get to 20 million, we can't get to 12 staff, 20 staff, 100 staff, we can't break into Italy, we can't break into France or the States. How can you help us? That is a golden ticket, because you don't have to pitch. You've done your pitching already. And here's the thing. You know, when you go into a pitch ordinarily, people aren't comparing like for like, but they think they are. They think that everyone is created equal. They think that everyone does the same thing. So they think that every marketing company that comes through is kind of going to give them the same results. So then what they do, they'll just go with the cheapest, or usually the middle option, unless you really know someone, and then you're going to retain them. But that's not what we're talking about. That's not a pitch. That's a beer. So the point is, people are never comparing apples with apples, so don't try and be a fucking apple. Be an orange. Be something else. Be a banana. I'd be one of them big crunch bars, the white chocolate ones that you can't get that much anymore, which is wildly annoying. They're amazing. Anyone remember Vice Versa, those little, yeah, amazing. Be one of those. Do something so wildly over there that it makes them think, wait a second, have we got this wrong? Have we got this wrong? But the trick is, and the question is, how do you do that? You've got to let people in. Right, put your hands up if you're on Twitter. Put your hands up, or leave your hands up if you're on Twitter with a personal account. Leave your hands up if you've got a Twitter account, both personal and business. You shit yourself then, Ross. I saw you. Like, do I? Okay. Why have you got a Twitter personal account and a Twitter business account? Okay, that's boring. Next. Who else? Who else has got a personal or business? Tentatively. Why have you got a personal and a business? Okay, perfect. Anyone else? Anyone want to throw the hat in? You two guys, Vicky, you put your hand up then. Were you just waving? Hi. Okay. Cool. What happens when you want to sell your business and you want to move to something else? What do you do? Do you start again? Do you keep the personal following? That's the question. And it's a great answer, and I agree with it, because the first week in business, this is how it works. You unlock the door, you turn up, you order your shitty Vista print business cards that you instantly regret ordering, but you get a little free holder, so that's a win. Then you set up all your Twitter accounts, then you set your Facebook accounts up, and then, you might mess around and do some LinkedIn company pages, and then you lock the door and you're like, yeah, solid first week. How much money you made? You don't make money in your first week. Yeah, you do. Of course you bloody do. It's a business. You make money every day. And if you don't, there's a problem. The biggest sales tool that I've got? I've actually got 2 sales tools. One's my dog. He's called Pete. He's about this big. No word or a lie. He could put his head on the table and he'd try and get them sweets. Everyone that I know, everyone that I get business from. I was at Podcast Movement last month. I've been at a couple of conferences over the last couple of weeks. Honestly, 60% of conversations start with, how's the Pete? Like, who are you, dude? I've seen him on your Instagram. Oh, yeah. The other 40% is a mix of maybe 25%, why is Kyle Rayner a better Green Lantern than Hal Jordan is? Like, well, this is a rabbit hole. Let's not go down this one. And then the other 15% is, what do you do? The 15%-ish is, what do you do? The reason I asked about the profiles is, what did we say earlier on? Know, like, and trust. People buy from people. But I'm going to set my business Twitter account up and tell you about my awards, bitches. I don't give a shit about your awards. Nor do the people that you're pitching to. What they want to know is, if their project goes pear-shaped, are you going to answer the phone? Are you going to be around? You've got to let people in. But we're taught, aren't we? As kids, we're taught to be professional in this box over here. And then when we clock out at 5 o'clock, personal kicks in. And then if you've got a foot in both, who's this bloody hippie? What's he doing? That's when you get told that you've got to wear the collared shirts and you can't dye your hair. Thanks, manager. I did dye my hair as well. I almost got sacked. So, the point is, you've got to let people in. You've got to tip the scales. You've got to keep people asking you questions. That's the key thing. Now, how do you do that specifically? What is the one thing that we've all got that is unique? Let's go really crap 1991 marketing. What is everyone's USP? Someone throw me the answer. It's a really easy one. Name themselves. Absolutely. It's the mix of personality, experience, values, ethics, likes, dislikes. But we don't publicize that, do we? Because we've got the Twitter account for business over here. So on that account, I'm going to talk about the latest industry news in concrete, because we do concrete. What a bore. Tell people about your bloody dog. Oh, I'm missing a slide. Oops, probably my fault. Look. Oh. Anyway, we'll go back to that one. There was a slide in there that said, people who tell stories rule the world. And it's a Plato quote. He knows his stuff. What can you do? This is my challenge to you guys. What time, Will? What can you do today to create something that tells your story consistently in such a way that makes you the only viable option? And I'm not going to tell you to do content marketing. I'm not going to tell you to do any of the tactics that we're all expecting to hear about. I'm saying that this is as individual to you as your values and your ethics and your name is, and your fingerprint. What can you do? Create one thing. In my case, every single day you will get 7 minutes of audio from me on iTunes or wherever. And I promise to do that every day. So that when little Phil, the IT guy, comes up and says, yes, I've got a window cleaning business, and now you're going to help us increase our turnover to 12 grand per year. Oh, why the fuck, Phil, you're an IT guy. Why are you even in this meeting? Turns out he's the window cleaner as well. So I can then go to Phil and say, well, Phil, actually, look, you see these 288 episodes that come out every single day and that answer every single question that you will never have because you don't know what we do. Go and look at them. Oh, and if you want, every week I'll do a free coaching session for you at 4 o'clock on Friday. Come along to that as well. What is your single point of consistency? How do you create a library and a legacy that you can refer people to that gives you the edge, that tips the scales, that lets you pitch without pitching, that makes you the only viable option? And that can be different for everyone. It could be a blog, a vlog, a podcast. It could be turning up at one place every single week just to do a free workshop. What is the one thing that you can do? And then find out how you can do it for free. Don't make people pay for it. Because if you're that good, people will pay you for the other stuff. So that's my challenge to you. What can you do to tip the scales? And do it today. Don't be one of those people that attends a conference, makes a load of notes, and sticks it on the desk and goes, got to get back to my emails. Get on with it. Do it today, because if you don't, one of the other 3 quotes will. Thank you. Now, what I will say is, even though I've just told you to do that now, I'm going to put that up in 5 minutes. So if you go to that link, it's probably not going to be there yet, but it will be there in 5. So thank you.